Just when you thought it was safe to go back into Valrak's content, boom, more Space Marine 2. Of course we're going to be speaking about Space Marine 2. It's the hot topic at the moment. It's the best 40k game we've ever had. This time we're going to be focusing on the multiplayer aspect of it because there's a lot of feedback around the multiplayer in terms of groups, game modes, and everything else involved with it. Mainly we're going to be reading a statement from the creative director, Oliver, again. For those of you who don't know, he did a big Ask Me Anything over on Twitter the other day. I did a separate video dedicated to that. But there's been more questions and more answers produced from that. Maybe I'll do a part 2 of that video to bring everyone up to speed. But for now, I just want to focus on the multiplayer aspect of it. So let's jump in and let's get waffling. As always, since you want to see my big head, here we are. I'm on the screen now. I want to give a big shout out to a chap called Azrael on my Discord server for sending me this out and pointing it out. And also a big shout out to Oliver, who keeps answering these questions. Again, go over to Twitter and give him a question to answer. He's freely doing it. It's incredible. A creative director actually taking the time out to actually talk to the fans of the product that he's actually made. So the chap over on Twitter called EMP asked, I fully understand not creating big maps and having big game modes with more than 6 players. As you said, it can be resources consuming and balancing being a thing. Question, will we see increased party sizes of more than 3 at very least? I have a lot of friends, man. Now, before we read Oliver's answer, which you've probably already read because you've seen it right now on the screen, I will say right now, my personal opinion, we need at least 5-man parties in Space Marine 2. 5-man parties because you are the 6th person to be added to that. I want to jump in with as many friends as possible. In a perfect world, this game should have private PvP lobbies. I would absolutely love to sit down with 12 of my friends and game all day long in the comfort of our own games. If you want to take the XP away from that, I'm fine for you to do that. Just let us have the option to game with as many friends as possible. This was one of the reasons why Space Marine 1 was such a success. I personally believe this is the reason why Space Marine 1 still had the amount of players it did all the way up to a couple of weeks ago, because it allowed players to connect with each other online, form parties, form private lobbies, and fight each other in the name of the Emperor or in the name of the Dark God. So if this is something the developers can look into, I'd massively appreciate it. And I really do think the future of this game, again, personal opinion, is in the PvP scene. There's so many people that are jumping on now playing PvP. The operations are fantastic. They're amazing. The campaign is fantastic, is amazing. But PvP is where the community is built. It's where it just goes and people jump in and play and fight and communicate, set up, you know, awesome tournaments and stuff like that. There's so much in the PvP when it comes to the Space Marine franchise. Now, if we jump over to Oliver's response, as you can see right here, he says, no plans yet, but we get lots of requests. Please do suggest it on the Focus website. We'll monitor interest and see what's possible. I would personally love it, but it would be a tall order. So basically, there's nothing in the pipeline right now to have a full 6-man friend squad to go into PvP. That's what I get from Oliver's response. But if there is enough request of it, then it's something the developers will look at. Now, in the description of this video, I'm going to link you to the request form over on the Focus website. I'm also going to make my own thread and link that in the video as well, the top comment and also in the description, and hopefully people can jump on that thread, thumb that thread up, because that's the main thing, comment on that saying, yes, this is something that we absolutely want, this is something that we absolutely need. We as a community can get this implemented if there is enough interest in this. Again, what I stated at the first part of this video, this is something that this game needs. It needs full parties to be able to share the experience with as many friends as possible. I love getting free friends in the game right now, but I'd love to have a full squad in game and really take it to the enemies. I know there's a lot of questions about, well, what happens with balance then? Is it going to be pug stomping and stuff like that? Well, maybe they can bring something in where groups are basically grouped with other groups, something like that, right? So it's a bit more fairer, it's a bit more balanced. I go back to the previous statement I've just said, make it private PvP lobbies, so you and 11 other people can jump in and experience the game. You can have clan wars and, you know, communities versus communities and stuff like that. The stuff that we had in Space Marine 1. Sorry if I keep banging on about it, but this is what made that great game absolutely fantastic. In terms of the other response about bigger maps and big game modes and stuff like that, we've spoken about this before. My feelings about this are known. When I first learned that this game would have 6 versus 6, I was quite let down with it because the original game had 8 versus 8, so I was at least expecting them to go back to the 8 versus 8. In a perfect world, I was hoping for like 10 versus 10, 12 versus 12. With the maps that we've got at this moment in time, we've only got 3 of them, and I do think the game launched with quite just, yeah, they needed more maps to launch with, like at least between 5 to 10 maps. And the great thing about multiplayer maps is all you need to do is just design the map so it's kind of mirrored with each other, so it's fair all the way around, and then the players just go in there and fight. It's not like an operation map, I don't think, where you have to design like the actual tunnel experience and get person from A to B to C and fill it up with, you know, different NPCs and stuff like that. When it comes to PvP, it's just a simple map and you just let people fight in it. That's the experience of PvP. Again, I could be completely wrong because I'm not a game developer. Please, game developers, enlighten me if that is not the case. So hopefully going forward in the future, we're going to see a lot more PvP maps added, and fingers crossed, maybe if there's enough suggestions, if there's enough requests on the Space Marine focus forums, we could get bigger game modes. We can get 10 versus 10, 12 versus 12. I really do think that PvP potentially is going to be the thing that keeps people coming back to Space Marine 2. Again, I've got nothing against the operations. I think they're amazing. They're one of the best things I've ever experienced. The campaign, one of the best things I've ever experienced. But PvP is where it's at. Going off the experience I had in Space Marine 1. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. Am I wrong? Am I right? Do you want bigger game modes? Do you want more maps? Do you want a 6-man party friend squad to be able to jump in and fight together with more friends? Please make it known in the comment section and make it known over on the Focus website. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and bye-bye.